Hi everyone, Ian here, and in this video I'm going to be talking about how you can use Python's built-in venv module and the package installer to get started with package management for your Python applications. So the venv module is in more recent versions of Python, so it's in Python 3.3 and above, so it should be available on your system if you're using a more recent version of Python in the last 5 years or so. And pip obviously is the Python package installer, and that comes down as part of Python installs, and so therefore we don't need to install anything in using virtual environments with this method, which is quite nice. So by using these two together, the Python package installer and the venv module, we're able to easily install in Python dependencies for projects into isolated environments, and that means that we're able to have application dependencies that are installed on our system that don't conflict with other application dependencies. So you might ask, why wouldn't you install everything in the global version of Python? Well, if you did that, then you're going to be in a position where you have only one version of a library installed. So if you wanted to use a version of Flask for your project, then at a later date you had another project that wanted to use a more recent version of Flask, you wouldn't be able to have those two things installed side by side, which is obviously a problem and a pain. It would mean that you'd either break one of your application's functionality, or you'd need to update it, and so you'd be constantly refactoring your apps, which is not anything that anybody wants to do. So what we do is we use virtual environments to manage this situation, and then we're able to have multiple environments installed on our system, each with their own Python versions and libraries installed within them. So to get started, we have, like I said, already got Python installed on this system. So if I'm using pyenv, so if I just list what I've got in my pyenv setup, versions, I believe that is. I have 391 as my system, as you can see there. And I'm going to get started by just moving into the directory that I've got set up for this, which is Python tutorials. And then we've got a blank directory with nothing in it. So this is going to be our application directory. Within that, if I want to create a virtual environment, so I'd use the call to the module that I'm going to be using, which is venv, and then that module knows that it needs an argument passed to it. So for that, we're going to call it test env. And then if we look within that now, we've got a test environment, and within that, we have a number of different folders, a bin folder, an include folder, and a lib folder. So in the bin folder, we'll find that we have versions of Python and pip. So it now has its own versions of Python and pip within that. And actually, if we list that, you can see that those versions of Python symlink to the version that I had installed on my system. So you can see that that's pointing to the pyenv version there. And so we've got this virtual environment installed. We want to go ahead and start using it because we're not currently using it. If we use pip at the moment, we'll see that that's using the local pyenv version of pip, and same for Python as well. So we want to activate that environment. So go to source, the name of the environment, which was test env, and Python. So I'm getting all this completion because I'm using omyzush. You'll see that in a previous video if you go back and we actually need to use the activate command here. So it's source testenv bin activate, and by doing that we get this nice bracketed indicator that we're now in that activated environment. So if I now use pip or Python, it's now indicated that I'm actually using the virtual environment that's in that directory. So the Python that is in that directory, and the same with pip as well. So we've got isolated environment there, which is nice. So let's say that I wanted to start using Flask. To install Flask, I'd use the package installer. I'd call pip install Flask, and that's going to install it within the version of within that testenv that I have. So actually, I should be able to now list in this directory. Actually, it's probably site packages. Oh, it's within there. So we can see in there that we now have Flask and various other dependencies installed within that folder. A simpler way of doing that is there's a pip command that we can make use of, which is just pip list. So we can see there's a bunch of packages. So it's Flask, and there's all the dependencies of Flask installed in there as well. Yeah, so we've been able to list them there. If we wanted to, we can actually capture those as a file. So this is useful if we then want to share the environment with others. We're able to capture the requirements. We're able to capture the dependencies using the freeze command. So if we do freeze, we can get the exact versions as a file there. And we could write that out to a file, but a simpler way would be to just actually write it on the command line. So we can write that into requirements.txt, and that then is installable as a test environment. So what I can do here is, what I'm going to do now is deactivate that environment. So I just call deactivate to be able to do that, and then I'm back with this shimmed pyenv version of Python that I'm using. So we've got our test environment there, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to remove that. We've got our requirements files as well, so let's remove the test environment and let's create it again. And if I then activate it again, we should now not have anything within that. So we've only got pip and setup tools, which is the kind of basics that we would normally have in an environment. But I can install now from that file that I've just created. So this is how you'd share your environment. You'd capture it as a requirements file, and then you'd install from that file each time that you wanted to create your environment. And then if we do pip list again, we've got everything that we had previously. So that's a nice little way to capture that environment. One final thing that I'm going to do here, so it's just deactivate again. I can open this in VSCode. So let's open that. And we've got a requirements file, we've got our test environment. In fact, actually, let's come out of VSCode and let's remove the test env. So we've cleared the environment, the virtual environment from the directory. I'm actually going to go and recreate that as a .venv because that'll be hidden from most terminal commands then. So if I do that, you can't see it, but if we do with the LA, we can see it. And then we'll need to source that. So if I do .venv, oops, .venv bin activate, we're now using that virtual environment. And then we can install from the requirements file again. Eventually catches up with what's going on there. I don't know why it took so long. And then we should be able to open this within code, VSCode. So by default, it hasn't actually, I don't think it's actually recognized that this is a Python project yet. So what I'm going to do is create an app.py file. I will go off and let's grab the minimal application that Flask gives as an example. So let's do that. Save it back. Okay, so you can see that then it's recognized that this is a Python project and it's activated that virtual environment that I've created. So then we should be able to do flask app equals app.py, flask run. And then this should be serving, and so we can see that example application translates into an application running. And this is all within that virtual environment. So if we can navigate through this, we can see the versions of Python and the version of pip that's been added. And within the lib folder, we can see that the Flask is there with all its dependencies as well. So yeah, this is a nice way to use the standard library, a very simple way of managing virtual environments. So yeah, I'm just reviewing the video here, and actually a quick side note on this with the use of the .venv that I've given is that I've shown that it's can be ignored in terminal, but actually it's typically something that's ignored from revision control. So if you go to the gitignore .io, which is a kind of template for gitignore files, and then you use Python, you can actually see within that the environments list venv as something to be ignored. So if you were using this example that we had, where we have the .venv as a folder within the same directory, and then we had a gitignore in there as well that basically just contained all of this, so we can create this over here. Then this is going to be ignored as part of any of our git commands. So if I then so we can see that that VM doesn't pop up now. So I've just initialized that repository and it's using a gitignore file there. Yeah, so this has been a video on using the built-in standard library. to do basic revision, virtual environment management. If you enjoyed it, I'd love it if you could share it with somebody else who might benefit from it as well. You can give it a like. You can subscribe to my channel. I'd love that. It's great seeing people subscribing and knowing what people enjoy for content. And in future videos, I'll be doing more of this stuff, more complicated application management techniques. And yeah, I will leave it at that for now, and I'll speak to you in the next video. All right, bye then.